we have a way that just might fix this current era of Doctor Who. Do we really, really want to go through with it, though? Hello, everyone. I am Mecha Random 42, who won the original, still your favorite YouTube consumer advocate, Harpy. I wanted to make this video. A lot of people have been sending me this tweet going around, and I hadn't really considered this. I hadn't considered the possibility of one way to put a stop to this modern era of Doctor Who. Sadly, there's going to be some massive consequences if we actually do this, or if I can condone this. This is where the big dilemma is. I don't know if I'm quite garbage enough of a person to just jump on board the whole cancel culture bandwagon and read about something that I would only be using for my own selfish gains. And I know probably a lot of YouTubers are probably going to make videos on this too, and I wanted to get my thoughts out on camera before I go watch anybody else's talk about this. As you guys know, I grew up with Doctor Who. I definitely enjoyed the David Tennant era stuff a little bit more than I did the Matt Smith. By the time Capaldi came around, it was just sort of going downhill and downhill, mostly because of Clara for me. She really, really ruined it. And the writing. Didn't really care a whole lot for the writing either, even with the Moffat era, even with the Matt Smith era. It was getting to the point where after a while, it was sort of becoming a chore to watch. And as much as I was so hooked on the David Tennant stuff and so hooked on the Tom Baker stuff as a kid, man, it's just because of the current trend of writing, because of the current trend of the world, because of the current state of everything, this modern Doctor Who can just go and self-partner itself. Oh yeah, with the sonic screwdriver that looks like a you-know-what. We're talking, of course, about some of these current modern-day faux pas, I guess. The modern-day culture of poo-pooing all over something that you might not agree with, something that you might want to censor, something that you might want to remove culturally because of whatever current insensitivities might be going on. And of course, we're talking about something so iconic to Doctor Who that you really only think Doctor Who when you see this. You really, really only think about Doctor Who. And the fact that, even articles like Screen Rant as recently as 5 days ago are talking about this. The TARDIS itself. This is where the freaking dilemma is. And of course, all this sparked from this debate here that you guys were sending me and retweeting at me from the Mega Geek, so shout out here. They might cancel Doctor Who's police box because of the word police. I wonder if they'll cancel Yaz because she's a policewoman. Now, that is the big debate here. Do we jump on board the cancel culture thing just so we can get some sort of reboot of the show, some sort of reimagining? Oh, and this is what really, really crushes my soul, because for a second I thought about it. For a second I thought, you know what, maybe this is a way to fix it. Maybe this is a way to get it to be where it's postponed long enough to where these actors go in and they have other obligations that they want to jump on board with. But the problem really at its core, that no matter what we do, you're going to ruin Doctor Who if you remove some of the core of Doctor, like the TARDIS. And we all know that the TARDIS got stuck that way from landing in the 60s. And the police boxes are so outdated. Even in the article, they're saying, yeah, London removed police boxes. You only really associate Doctor Who, or the police box rather, with Doctor Who at this point. You only really see that, especially if you're an American, especially if, because you still see some of the old phone booths when you go into the UK. You don't see the police boxes anymore. That is such a relic of the past, but is the idea of the position, the job, such an outdated relic of the past too now, that all of a sudden in the last month that we see this huge backlash for anything where they're removing everything from little doggies in Paw Patrol because they happen to be, wear the little police officer uniform. They're so cute. Don't hurt the doggies. Don't remove the doggies. Seriously. This is what the big debate is for me, and this is why I gotta just go ahead and canceled myself out because I thought about it for about a minute, and I'm like, you know what? This could be the way to get the show to go away long enough, right? This could be the way to get the show to go away long enough so that they can get rid of Chris Chibnall, get rid of Jodie Whittaker, get rid of this bad woke right. And you know what? The problem is it's just going to get worse. The problem is it's just going to get worse if we don't get some people in there who stick to their guns and say, no, don't change the TARDIS. Absolutely don't. And even Yaz, she's a policewoman, right? She's a policewoman. She's supposed to be the good guy. She's supposed to be the hero. She's supposed to be, not only that, she's supposed to be the representation. And now we're going to have to slap a warning on this right away saying, oh, no. This has outdated references. Because here's the thing with modern Doctor Who. There's so many other more offensive things than Yaz's job as a cop, right? There's so many more, like the whole way that they talk down to every single male on the show. The way that they treat the viewing audience like we're a bunch of dumbasses. Seriously, you don't need to treat your viewing audience like we're a bunch of dummies. We got it. Pollution's bad. And I get it. Doctor Who is always kind of a show that kids could watch and adults could watch. It was never necessarily, for me anyway, it wasn't just specifically a kids show, right? It was a show that it was like Star Wars. Kids could watch it, adults could watch it, everybody could watch it. I never felt it was so super preachy. I never felt until recently that it just became a Captain Planet sort of, and we need to talk to you about the environment, and here's the PSA. All right, if I wanted that, I would watch Captain Planet. If I wanted that, I would watch those things. So obviously, shame on me for even thinking about it for 1 second. I did want to talk about it on video, though. Shame on me for even thinking for 1 second that that's how we could get this Doctor Who stuff fixed. Because if we start doing that, then we're just as bad as everybody else going around trying to woke everything up to the point where it's unwatchable, to the point where it's so preachy and so disgusting and boring, and there's nothing to do other than sit there and tell you how you're a bad person and how you should do this and how you should feel that. I don't want to get preached to on these shows. I want to be entertained. Take me on a little journey. Let Star Trek, at least back when Star Trek was still good, let Star Trek handle the heavy moral debates for a change. Let Doctor Who be that fun thing where we're off in space, flying around throughout time and space, everywhere, instead of just, okay, London bad guy of the week is an old white dude, right? We don't need that. We don't need that so much. And they did quite a few episodes like that. And if you do diversity and inclusion correctly, if you do it in a way that isn't just tokenism, you're gonna be fine. People aren't going to care what color the companions are, who the Doctor is even. Like, they could have even had a female Doctor Who that was good and not just going around making all these little scrunch faces all over the place. All right, we don't need just that sort of message from Doctor Who. We need something a little bit more entertaining, a little more fun. And can Doctor Who come back right now? I don't think it can anytime soon. They're supposed to be filming towards the end of the year here in falls when they're supposed to be coming back. Here we go. And there was this other article. Doctor Who return confirmed as guest star Amanda Gills reveals the character's fate. Well, this is a whole clickbaity article here. This just says, they filmed the Christmas special, basically. So you go all the way down the article. It's not yet known whether all the Doctor's companions will be making a return, but the leading lady will definitely be hanging on for now. Well, here's the thing, though. With current social distancing, can you even film? And that was the other video I did. Can Doctor Who even film right now with the current social distancing practices, with the current methodology, with the current environment? Just the very mention of the spaceship, the TARDIS, is going to make people cringe. It's going to make people say, oh, this is one of the things we're talking about in the current event stuff. This is what we're talking about in Politics Ball. We can't have anything that might upset or offend, or even though it goes against tradition. So can they even film this without having people picketing saying, oh, Doctor Who represents an old time when things were bad? Because they can't catch up to this current stuff as quickly as I think the culture is changing, as quickly as the reculture is changing. Like, we're going to have some sort of a stop to this. We're going to have some sort of Okay, this is enough. This is where we draw the line on this. No, you can't just come in and change everything, especially 50-year-old tradition like this. This is more than 50 years old. You cannot go in and just take away everything else that makes Doctor Who Doctor Who. If they go in and take away the TARDIS, if they go in and take away any of the law enforcement are good sort of messages in this, what's going to change next year when we find out, oh yes, tokenism is offensive? Because I've been saying that for years. What's going to happen when I say, oh, having, one of every color of the rainbow only there for a woke point, only there for, diversity, only there for a giant game of
Wokey Mom.
Because when people are just used for how they look on the outside, that's almost as offensive as not even including them in a lot of ways. If they're only there for a checkbox, if they're only there for marketing purposes, if they're only there because they're legally required to be there for diversity, how is that representative? How is that helpful? How does that do anything to progress or advance a society? And this current day stuff is going to get old real fast, is going to get a warning label slapped on pretty much everything that's come out in the last 2 years. We're already seeing how different times are changing so quickly with a lot of this stuff, and I think there's going to be, because like I said, I think there's going to be a massive backlash. I think there's going to be a massive pushback for all this stuff. Like, okay, no, you gotta stop this somewhere. You gotta stop this somewhere. And last night on High Council, we were talking about this a little bit. Where does this all stop? Well, it stops when you start infringing on people's religions, when you start infringing on people's core values and core beliefs. And I think that's where a lot of this is going to have to stop. We're going to have to say, and we're going to have to put our foot down on some of this stuff. We're going to have to say, no, don't take away the police box from Doctor Who. Don't take away, even Yaz. Like, she's kind of a useless character, but the problem I have with the companions in current Doctor Who is you just got too many of them not doing anything. Like I said, you've got basically a cornucopia of diversity. You've got a token this and a token that, and then an old person, and then this and that for every representation in the book. The problem when you have that is you have too many people on your little TARDIS there, too many people having nothing to do. You are left with a lot of people wandering around in the dark in hallways on spaceships or on alien planets or in old houses in Mary Shelley's, just wandering around calling to each other because they have nothing left to do. And why? Why do we need all of this stuff? Why do we need all this garbage? You can have one companion. It doesn't matter what color they are. It doesn't matter if they're an alien. It doesn't matter if they're from another planet. It doesn't matter. You don't have to mirror modern society so perfectly in science fiction. I really want to get that rant off of my chest. And no, I am not a horrible enough person where I'm going to jump on the cancel culture bandwagon and just say, no, we gotta remove this because it's offensive now, just because I don't like the current direction of Doctor Who. Just because I don't like it. I want it fixed, but I don't want it fixed in this way. There's got to be a better way to get this stuff dealt with and handled. And if you guys have any suggestions on how to do that, let me know in the comment section below. I am MechaRandom42, and I'll see you guys on the next video, live stream, or wherever. Bye. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, make sure to hit that like button. And if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next video.